Hi everyone! Today we're going to talk about how might we questions. I'm Debbie Pixton. What is a how might we question? Well, it's a question beginning with the phrase, how might we, that provides focus for defining and addressing a challenge. In terms of the design cycle, it is part of the define phase. Why use a how might we question? How might we questions clearly name the challenge that you are planning to undertake. You can use them as a launch point to focus your design thinking and set parameters and guidance for your team. How might we questions also encourage divergent brainstorming. We prefer to use words like might or can rather than should to invite more possibilities. And using we makes the question inclusive. We're all in this together. We abbreviate how might we as HMW. How might we questions can be fairly focused. How might we increase student attendance next quarter? But a how might we question can also be written as a moonshot. How might we make this school our students' favorite place to be? On a worldwide stage, we saw China respond to the how might we question, how might we build 2 hospitals in a week in the face of COVID-19 infections on the rise? How might we questions are open-ended, invite multiple and varied perspectives, encourage broad brainstorming, and in some cases, they might be inspiring or exciting. Overall, how might we questions provide direction, push your work forward, and move you from information gathering to what do we actually want to accomplish. Applications include crafting and communicating challenges in a way that is inclusive and open-ended, crafting questions that inspire divergent thinking, developing driving questions for student projects, units, or lessons, encouraging a culture of curiosity and questioning, and again, creating questions that are inclusive and collaborative. How might we questions pair well with many other design thinking methods? For example, how might we questions and role storming turn a role storm into how might we make this desk more accessible for all students? If you've done a rose, thorn, bud, and affinity cluster, consider turning your affinity cluster themes into a how might we question. In this prompt on online learning, turning an affinity cluster theme on student technology into the how might we question, how might we support one another while learning new technology? If you have several how might we questions, consider using dot voting to determine which one to use moving forward. Or, if you're really not sure if you have the right granularity of question, consider using an abstraction letter to determine if you need a question that's more abstract or more concrete. Finally, consider combining a how might we question with a creative matrix to help inspire more broad brainstorming and really focus your ideas. In terms of a process for developing how might we questions, start with step 1. Consider the information you have or the challenge you are trying to address. In step 2, draft at least 2 how might we question possibilities. Step 3, with your team, discuss and select the appropriate how might we question for your work or next step. If you are stuck, consider using an abstraction ladder to make sure you're answering the right question. As with many design thinking methods, you can develop how might we questions in person or virtually. When we're in person, we tend to use large note cards and markers for the brainstorming of how might we questions. On this slide, you can see how might we brainstorming done by district administrators focused on how might we redesign or reimagine our schools in an effort to refine the granularity of the question they were looking to solve. Virtually, you can create how might we questions on any platform where you can collaboratively share ideas. Consider Jamboard, Padlet, Google Docs, Microsoft Whiteboard, or Microsoft Word as just a few options to get you started. Here are a few tips and tricks to make sure your how might we questions are useful to you. Do make sure you are clear on the purpose for your how might we questions and how they will be used. Do use information you've already gathered to inform your how might we questions. Do understand the intent behind aspirational or more focused how might we questions and which is appropriate for your current situation. And do utilize how might we's as a North Star to keep everyone focused when moving through other methods. To review, How might we questions help you clearly name the challenge that you are planning to undertake? How might we questions provide parameters and focus for divergent brainstorming? How might we questions are powerful when paired with a variety of other methods to help keep everyone focused on where you're headed? And how might we questions are designed to encourage possibilities and be inclusive? Thank you.